Hello everyone, welcome to the CloudLearn AWS Zero to Hero series. This is a day 26 video. In this video, we are going to perform some hands-on exercises on auto-scaling topic. In the last video, we have covered the auto-scaling theory. If you haven't seen that video, just go back and complete the day 25th video and then continue with this video. Okay, let me give you a quick overview about like what is the auto-scaling and all, and then we can go on with hands-on exercises. Auto-scaling is a feature by using which we can adjust the number of instances according to the demand. Means if you are having like huge demand, like more number of people are accessing your website, then the number of instances will be increased automatically. If there is no users exist, and then the number of instances will be reduced to match the desired load. And for that, we are going to we are going to set up a simple web application, and we are going to perform some load, and we will observe how the number of instances will be increased and reduced. Okay, so launch a simple website or a web application using auto scaling in order to maintain best performance with lowest charges. And my requirement is a minimum capacity is a 2, max capacity is again going to be like a 5, desired capacity initially the desired capacity like initial capacity is going to be the 2. So what all we have to do is, first we have to create an EC2 instance and host a simple website, and from that create an AMI. Why AMI? Using this AMI, all the new instances will be created. This AMI contains your website code, web application configuration, and everything. Then the next one is create a launch template. I will say my launch template is the name, in which what all you have to include AMI, instance type, key pair, security group, and this security group must allow 22 port, 80 port, and 443. 22 is to log into the Linux machine, 80 and 443 are to allow the website access, and then the storage, which is going to be the EBS volume. Minimum storage is okay, like 10 GB or something. Then create auto scaling group. I will say my ASG, my auto scaling group. That is the name of the auto scaling group, in which you need to include the launch template, network, into which network. But by default, we will have a single network in each region. Going forward, we will see how to create our own VPC networks and all. Most probably, there's a next video. And then into which availability zone and the subnet. This is all we have to mention. Otherwise, they don't know like into which network it has to be created and all. Then target group, into which target group these to be added. And then health check to be evaluated, right? Health check grace period, like for how many seconds the health check to be performed on your instances. Then group size means what is the desired capacity and what is the minimum capacity, what is the max capacity. Then scaling policy, like when to create and when to delete existing instances and all. And we are going to use a policy called a target tracking policy. Means our targets will be tracked for CPU utilization and all. And there is something called instance warm up. I will explain what it is. While doing the practical, I will explain. Then SNS notification. Whenever a new instance got created, right, we will be notified on your email. Or whenever an instance got terminated, that will be notified. For all these notifications, these tags will be used. And also here, what we are going to do is on EC2 instances, like there are two types of monitoring. About monitoring, we will discuss in detail in the topic called CloudWatch. What all those are: basic monitoring and detailed or enhanced monitoring. Basically, basic monitoring is a free of cost, and enhanced or detailed monitoring is a chargeable. What is the difference between these two are, in the basic monitoring, every 5 minutes, the information will be collected, like what is the CPU, what is the network speed, what is the memory and all. In the enhanced monitoring, every 1 minute, it will be collected. While doing the practical, if I choose basic monitoring, after 5 minutes only, it will identify that the CPU got increased. But if you enable basic monitoring, within 1 minute, it will be identified. Because in the basic monitoring, the information will be collected every 5 minutes. Whereas in the detailed or enhanced monitoring, every 1 minute, the information, we call it as a matrix. What is the CPU utilization? What is the disk utilization? This will be collected every 1 minute. Okay, right. So then what all we have to do is, there are a few other terminologies also that we will discuss while we are creating that we will discuss. I think here we forgot to mention the target group. The target group also a mandatory thing, right? Sorry, yeah, not target, load balancer. Without having a load balancer, your load cannot be distributed. That also you have to create. Without a load balancer, instances will be created, but the data cannot be distributed across three. Create an application load balancer and connect with the above target group. Okay, now let us do all these tasks practically. Okay, so first thing, let us log into our Amazon account, right? This is our AWS account. Let me create an EC2 instance. Let me explain what exactly I'm going to do now. Whatever the EC2 instance I'm creating, that is not going to be a part of our auto scaling. First, I will create the EC2 instance into which I will install everything required, and then I will configure as per my requirement. From this, I will create an AMI, and this AMI we will use to create our web application service. Okay, so now let us go to our AWS account. Let me launch an instance. I think everybody knows, right, how to launch an instance, how to log in, especially the Linux instance, and how to install a web server. If not, just go back to the previous videos and you can check that. Okay, I will say some name, any name that doesn't matter, and Amazon Linux, T2.micro because there's a free tier eligible. Select the key pair. Network settings, we have only one network. Subnet, you can choose any subnet, that doesn't matter. Security group, I will choose an existing security group which will allow Linux, SSH, HTTP, and HTTPS. Storage, yeah, 8 GB is enough because we are not going to install anything. And there is a concept called user data. That what user data is whatever you want to execute some commands once the EC2 instance got created, you can provide that as a user data. If you want, just I will show you. So here already I have copied some script, some command or whatever you want to execute. And here, if you click on advanced details, here user data, I pasted it. What happens here? Once the EC2 instance got created, it will install HTTPD service. It will enable the service. It will start the service, and it will get the public IP address, and it will store in here, and then it will create an index.html page. It creates things, and this is going to be displayed on the website. Hello all, welcome to auto scaling. Public IP of this instance is dollar $public IP. What is this dollar $public IP? Here it is. But just I got it from the Google. I don't know like how to coding at all. Just click on launch instance, or else you can log in, then type yum install httpd service httpd start, then index.html hello all. It looks like a simple thing. It looks like a simple thing. Okay, so we created this EC2 instance, right? But the question is how to enable detailed monitoring. Let me show you that. So select the EC2 instance. Here there is a tab called monitoring, and here there is one option called manage detailed monitoring. Click on that and you can enable it. See here, after you enable detailed monitoring, the Amazon EC2 console displays monitoring graphs with a 1 minute period for the instance. This is how you can enable detailed monitoring. Okay, what is the advantage of the user data is without logging into the EC2 instance, our website will be up and running. Not only the website, whatever the commands you want to execute, those commands you have to provide as user data. Okay, how to check that? Let me copy the public IP. Hello all, welcome to auto scaling. Public IP of this instance is, it seems there is some problem with the code. It is not retrieving the public IP. It is not retrieving the public IP. Let me check that why. For that again, we have to connect. There must be some what we call the tick. That's okay. For just for testing purpose, I don't want to modify all this coding and all. We will go with this only. If it doesn't display that, that's okay. It seems whatever the command I have used to retrieve the public IP, it looks like that is not correct. It looks like that is not the correct. Okay, so here our web application is ready. Assume that our web application is ready. Now, what is the next step? The next step is to create an AMI. Like, let me go back to our what we call that the notepad. We have done the first step, half of the first step. Now let we need to create an AMI. How to create the AMI? Any guess? Because we have already seen that, but how to create the AMI? To create an AMI, select the EC2 instance. Just wait until the status checks complete. Don't create before that. You have to see 2 by 2 checks passed. Select that, actions, image and templates, create image. I will say my web app, name of the AMI, create image. Image will be created, which will take a few minutes of time, which will take a few minutes of time. In the meanwhile, we will go and continue with the other steps. What is the next one? Launch template, but that launch template requires an AMI. So what I do is I will create a target group. I will create a target group and I will create a launch template. So I recommend to create these two first. So I will say just let us create the target group. Okay, just I rewrite the steps just to avoid the confusion. Okay, right. So now let me go to create a target group. How to create in the same EC2. So here is a target groups. Click on that. Create a target group, instances, same procedure. I will say my target group. This procedure we already have seen in the load balancer video. Healthy threshold 5, unhealthy 2, timeout 5, interval. I would like to check every 10 seconds and then click on next. I don't want to add any EC2 instance because this EC2 instance I'm going to delete. I don't want to add that. Create a target group. Target group has been created. Now we need to create a load balancer. Click on the load balancers, create load balancer, create. I will say my ALB, internet facing, IPv4, VPC, one VPC. Select all availability zones so that your load balancer will be spread across all availability zones to maintain high availability. Coming to the security group, it should allow HTTP and HTTPS. And whatever the traffic is received by the load balancer must be forwarded to the my target group target group. Then just scroll down, click on create load balancer and note down the load balancer DNS name, this one, because this is the one which we have to use to access the web application. And let us check that AMI is ready or not. Let us check whether the AMI is ready or not. So here DNS name, this one. Okay. If the AMI is ready, we can continue with the process of creation of launch template. How to check the AMI status? Here click on AMIs. You can see this AMI status is available. Okay, how to create the launch template? So in the same EC2, you can see one option called launch templates here. Click on that. Create launch template. Launch template name, my launch template. I will say version 1 of my web application, some description, meaningful description, auto scaling guidance. Okay, so this I'm using for auto scaling. So what happens here? If you choose this one, then they will mention what all are mandatory. So I recommend that. Okay, here we need to choose an AMI. Go to my AMIs, select your AMI, my web app. That is the AMI which we have. Instance type. What all we have to choose? What all we have to choose in the launch template? Just go to the notes once and you can check what all we have mentioned. Instance type we have to choose. I would like to choose free tier 1, which is a T2.micro, key pair, security group, then storage. See here, 8 GB. That's okay. That's enough for us. And then you have to click on create launch template. The launch template is getting created. Once the launch template is ready, once the launch template is ready, we have to create auto scale. How to create the auto scaling group in the same EC2 service? If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see auto scaling groups. Earlier, under auto scaling, there was an option called a launch configuration, which was deprecated. Now that's not available. Auto scaling groups, create auto scaling groups here. Minimum size, desired capacity, it will scale out as needed up to maximum size. Amazon EC2 auto scaling feature have no additional fees, no additional charges. Create auto scaling group. Auto scaling group name, I will say my ASG. For accounts created after May 31st, 2023, the EC2 console only supports auto scaling groups with launch templates. Choose the launch template. Whatever you included in the launch template, that is automatically retrieved here. This is the launch template. Security group ID, AMI ID, key pair, instance type. Next. Then we have to choose a network, right? We have to select the network also. Availability zone and subnets. Let me choose all. Means our EC2 instances will be spread across all availability zones. Availability zone distribution, you can choose anything, that doesn't matter. Load balancing, yes, I would like to attach to an existing load balancer. Choose from load balancer target groups. This is our target group. No VPC lattice service. And health check grace period, I would like to check every 60 seconds. I don't want to wait for 5 minutes for health check. Every 60 seconds, the health check will be performed and health of the instances will be evaluated. Desired capacity. What is the desired capacity for us? 2. Minimum capacity 2. Maximum capacity is 5. Scaling policy. You have to choose target tracking scaling policy. Average CPU utilization, I would like to say 70. Instance warm up, I will say 60 seconds. What is this instance warm up is? Let us say one instance got created at, let us say, 10 a.m. Immediately the CPU, the load will not be reduced, right? The CPU will not come less than 70. What happens? It will wait for 60 seconds. Even after the 60 seconds, if the load is not reduced, I mean the CPU is not reduced, then only another new instance will be created. Warm up is like waiting period kind of a thing. Okay. Instance maintenance policy. Just you can say mixed, you can choose mixed behavior, so that no policy means by default, what is the policy is before creating a new instance will be created before terminating an existing EC2 instance in terms of replacing an existing instance, or terminate and launch. Just you can choose anything, that doesn't matter. Scroll down and click on next. Notification. Create a topic, send a notification to, just you can choose an email. Sorry. I can say auto scaling notification to whom you would like to receive. I will say my email ID, the cloudlearn@gmail.com. For what event types? Whenever a new instance got launched, terminated, or failed to launch or failed to terminate. In all these cases, you will receive an email notification. But the moment once you create this, you will receive a subscription confirmation notification that you have to confirm. Tags. I will say web server means every new, okay, sorry, name. Every new instance created in this auto scaling group will have a name called a web server. It's optional actually. Next, scroll down and click on create auto scaling group. It will take some time. Just wait. See here, what is the desired capacity? 2. What is the status? Updating the capacity, because by default, 0 instances are there. To match that with the desired capacity, it is updating by creating two new EC2 instances. Let me go to the EC2 just to show you two instances got created automatically. Because anytime minimum number of servers will be running, and this temp server is not required anymore. Let me terminate that. The temp server is only to create the AMI. Okay, before continuing with the practical, I want to explain few terms, few terminologies. On every on every load balancer, there is a term called deregistration delay. In the load balancer, we have a target group, right? On the target group, option. There is an option called deregistration delay. What is the deregistration delay means? Whenever an instance has to be terminated, first that has to be deregistered, unregistered from the target group. The deregistration delay means it will wait for, by default, that's a 300 seconds, means 5 minutes. So before removing that from the target group, it will wait for 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes, no new connection will be sent to that particular target. Why? If any user is connected to that particular target and if suddenly the target got deleted, then the user will experience page not found error. To avoid that, it will wait for 5 minutes. In this 5 minutes, all the users will be shifted to another target, and then this target will be deregistered, and then it will be deleted from the auto scaling group. So by default, the deregistration delay is 300 seconds. Whenever we deregister, I mean, whenever the instance is getting deleted from the auto scaling, first it will be deregistered and then it will be terminated. Means if any instance is marked for termination, then we have to wait for 5 minutes. I don't want to wait for that particular time. So I would like to modify it. I can say we can modify the deregistration delay as per our requirements. So now what we are going to do is modify the deregistration delay to 60 seconds because I don't want to wait 5 minutes to show how the instances are getting terminated. Okay. So how to do that? Go to the target group. This is our target group, right? Click on that. And here there is an option called attributes. This is the one. Edit. Let us change this to 60. That's it. So within 60 seconds, your instance will be deregistered and all will happen. Okay, now how to observe that the new instance is getting created? I can't get like thousands of users to access the website to increase the CPU, right? For that reason, what I do is these all are the Linux machines, right? I will connect to one of both the EC2 instances and I will simulate a high CPU. I will provide that command and all, no need to worry. Let me connect both instances one by one. There is a generally we know like using SH client, right? There is an option called EC2 instance connect, EC2-user, and click on connect so that you will be automatically logged into the Linux machine using the browser. So first, what I do is I will check the current CPU utilization. And if you remember, we forgot to enable detailed monitoring, right? See here, what is the CPU? Almost zero, almost zero. Okay, what I do is let us enable detailed monitoring, or else we have to wait for 5 minutes. And also Let us go to the launch template and update the values so that from now onwards, all EC2 instances will be created using detailed monitoring enabled. I can say enabled detailed monitoring. Or at the time of creation itself, you can enable that. Actually, I forgot to enable. If you go to advanced details, somewhere here, detailed CloudWatch monitoring, you should enable it. Create template version, view launch templates. Default version is still one, right? We have to set default version 2. Means from now onwards, autoscaling group will use the second version of our launch template to create our EC2 instances. To avoid this, at the time of creation, just enable detailed monitoring. Okay. Now, now the CPU is 0%, right? Okay, let me cancel Control C so that CPU utilization chart will be removed. How to increase the CPU utilization? There is a simple command called yes space greater than symbol space /dev /null and symbol. It will create an infinite loop, and it will consume all the CPU. What is the process ID? 3151 is the process ID of this particular process. Remember that. Top. What is the CPU utilization? It's like 50%, 62% at the third line from the top. The same way, I will go to the second EC2 instance also. In the real time, we don't increase the CPU manually. Whenever more number of users got connected, automatically the CPU will be increased. Let me log in. You have to be uh, like you have some patience to do this practical, because instantly you can't see the results. You have to wait for some time. Okay. I'm forgetting like to which server I got connected. Okay, first I'm going to connect to the 40 machine. Connect EC2-user. Connect, and then the second machine 28. Connect username EC2-user. Connect. There is no CPU, so now let us execute that command. CPU is like 37.5%, 57%. But we set like 70%, right? Until the CPU utilization exceeds 70%, it can't create a new EC2 instance. 61%. Okay, let me run multiple processes. Whatever you can do, just try to increase the CPU, so automatically you can observe how the new instances will be created or how the existing instances will be deleted. All you can observe practically. 58%. Okay, I think while creating the auto scaling group, it would be good if you select like 60% or a 50% or so, because for us it is easy to reach 50% of CPU utilization instead of trying to reach 70%. Okay, while you're doing the practical, select that the CPU utilization is going to be 50%. Here it is. Somewhere here, you can modify that. Select 50, target value. What is the advantage? No need to wait for a huge time to observe these EC2 instance creations and all. Okay, then what you have to do is go to the auto scaling group. Then you can observe the desired capacity will become 3 within 1 minute. After increasing the CPU to more than 50%, it will identify that CPU is more than 50% within 1 minute, and the desired capacity will become 2 plus 1. But instances are 2. So to match these two, number of instances will be increased. Number of instances will be increased. Okay, let us wait to observe this particular, what we call that, instance creations and all. What is the CPU utilization? It seems the CPU utilization is still 36%. If you click on this monitoring tab, you can see the CPU utilization of both the instances. Not that much easy, not that much easy to put some load on, like what we call that, on a plain running EC2 instances without more users. But how to verify? Let us do a manual scale. Manual scaling means select the ASG, actions, edit, and just change the desired capacity from 2 to 4. 2 to 4. What happens now? See here, desired capacity 4. Generally, this desired capacity will be automatically updated based on the load. But here we don't have enough load. That's why I manually changed the desired capacity. Now what happens? Instances becomes 4. Let me go to the EC2. Let me refresh the page. You can see the third instance got created. Fourth one is not yet created. Why? There is a warm-up period called 60 seconds. So within 1 minute, I mean after 1 minute, again it will create one more EC2 instance. That's the advantage of the warm-up period. If there is no warm-up period, then what happens? Both instances will be created at a time. But here it will wait for 60 seconds, and after 60 seconds, another instance will be created. The reason is within seconds, the load cannot be reduced because of the new EC2 instance got created. For the creation of the instance itself, it will take like 1 to 2 minutes of time. But at the real time, 5 minutes is the recommended time. That is the best practice to keep 300 seconds. But here, I don't want to wait 5 minutes for every instance to create. That's why I set to 60 seconds. You can observe the one more EC2 instance to be created. See here, pending. The same way, whenever the load has been reduced, what happens over there? This desired capacity will becomes -1. Still the load is small, again it will become -1. And it will reach 2. Minimum capacity is 2. So it won't -1. That also let me do it manually. Edit. But in real time, that will be automatically happens based on the load. Click on update. The first question. Now what happens? Two instances will be deleted, right? Because to match the number of instances with the desired capacity, two instances to be created. The question is, which two EC2 instances will be deleted? We have a 4, right? Out of those 4, what two EC2 instances will be deleted? Is there any rule or logic? Yes, there is a rule. The rule is the instance which is close to the next billing hour will be deleted first by auto scaling group. What is the meaning of that? If you the first two instances were created 30 minutes ago. The two new instances were created like 2 minutes ago. Which instances are close to the next billing hour? Old ones are 30 minutes away from the billing hour. The new ones are 58 minutes away from the billing hour, right? So whatever the instances are close to the next billing hour, those will be terminated first. Why? To avoid unnecessary or wastage of the billing. Simple logic. If you delete the new instances which were running from the last 3 minutes, you have to pay per hour, right? Means by using 3 minutes, you are paying for 60 seconds. Sorry, 60 minutes. Means unnecessarily you are paying for 50 minutes, 57 minutes. But what if you delete the old ones? Just you are paying like 30 minutes extra. That's why whatever the instances are close to the next billing hour, those will be terminated first. In this auto scaling, we have multiple types of scaling policies. Manual scaling means the one which we have performed. Like we can expect, okay, from Monday, like earlier previous example, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have a huge traffic. So we know. So we can do manual scaling. Manually, we can adjust before the load increase. Target tracking scaling policy means the one which we have performed. Like CPU is set to 50%. Whenever the CPU is more than 50%, automatically created. Less than 50, automatically deleted. Scheduled scaling. Scheduled scaling means we know that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we need minimum 4 servers, maximum 8 servers. So we will schedule that every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, minimum capacity to be 4. Irrespective of whether there is a load or not, automatically 4 instances will be running Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Scheduling. Predictive scale. That was a newly introduced feature. I mean, it's a 2 years old actually. So what it is from the previous usage, from the last 1 month, 15 days usage, it will predict the future requirements. Like, okay, in the next 1 hour, you might get a heavy traffic. So I need like two more new servers. It will predict the requirement based on the previous data, and automatically it will create new EC2 instances in advance. But in the real time, we don't use the predictive scaling. Always we use the target tracking scaling policy only. Okay. Manual scaling means we can adjust that capacity manually, like by change. I mean, manually in the sense we don't create the instances manually or delete instances manually. What we do, we will set, okay, the requirement is this one. Requirement we will define manually. So automatically the instances will be created. Now, we need to clean up to avoid unnecessary charges. Most of the people will do the mistake here. What they do, they will terminate EC2 instances manually and they will turn off. But in the back end, auto scaling is running, right? What it will do, it the job of the auto scaling is to maintain two instances at any given point of time. Automatically, the moment you log out, it will create two more servers. So what we have to do is first delete the target group, sorry, auto scaling group, then delete the launch template, delete the load balancer, delete the target group. Then we will be safe from unnecessary billing. Okay, how to do all this? See here, only two instances are running. Okay, first let us go to the auto scaling group. No need to delete the EC2 instances. They will be automatically terminated the moment once you delete the auto scaling group. Select the auto scaling group, actions, delete. For the confirmation, type delete here. What happened now? Desired capacity set to 0. Desired capacity is set to 0. Now the instances will be deregistered from the target group, then they will be deleted from the auto scaling group, and the entire auto scaling group will be deleted. If you want to check, see here, click on the auto scaling group, and here you can see this activity. What is happening? Connection draining in progress for two EC2 instances. Connection draining, 60 seconds. 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, the connection drain happens and it will be deregistered. And while doing the practical, don't only do whatever I have shown. Just check all other options. Check all other options. So you will get some questions. Feel free to ask me the questions and I will be happy to help you. Okay, right. Once the auto scaling, and let me go to the EC2 instances, refresh. See here, two instances are getting shut down. This also will be terminated. 60 seconds is the deregistration delay. And then what we have to do, we have to delete the launch template, select the launch template, actions, delete template, type delete for the confirmation and delete. Done. Then target groups, first go to the load balancer, actions, delete load balancer, type confirm for the confirmation of the deletion of the load balancer, the target groups, delete, yes, delete, and we are done. And at any given point of time, the moment once you're done with your practicals, delete everything, delete everything, and then log out. Or else by the next day or by the next week, whenever you exhaust all the free tier limits, definitely you will be charged with a huge amount to avoid unnecessary, because free tier is not like unlimited free tier, unlimited free usage, right? For everything there is a limit. Once you exceed the limit, you will be charged. That's why clean up the things once you're done with your practical. Okay, so I hope you guys got clarity on like what is the auto scaling and all. If you have any questions on auto scaling, just feel free to reach me on the comment section or even on the Telegram. I will be happy to help you. Thank you, everyone.